You have a vice presidential candidate in mind?
Well, I really haven't gotten quite there yet.
It's just
Oprah. I love Oprah. Oprah would always be my first choice. Oprah, your competitor, right?
Oprah's competitor.
You know what?
No
I'll tell you, she's really a great woman, though.
What do you think of Cory Booker's? And you didn't comment on him, and you feel free.
Oh, I adore him.
What do you think about him saying kicked him in the shins, essentially? Start to get to that kind of political.
Well, that was Eric Holder.
Yeah, Eric Holder.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, I know they all look alike.
No, they don't.
You never heard anything about Donald Trump being racist until he ran for president and won. Before then, everybody was like, oh, he's on WWE, he on different shows. Everybody, they like Donald Trump. As soon as he ran for president, because people don't like the truth.
In Delaware, the largest growth in population is Indian Americans moving from India. You cannot go to a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts unless you have a slight Indian accent. I'm not joking.
Donald Trump stood up for me when they talked bad about me, and people said, "What do you think about this convicted rapist?" Said he was for you. He responded. He said, He accepted my vouching for it. He accepted that and said, Mike is my friend, and I respected that.
And my Aunt Bee has walked by that picture at least 1,000 times, remarked that her father, my papa, had high cheekbones like all of the Indians do.
I've known Donald before he became the Donald, and Donald is not a racist. I mean, I hate to tell people, just because you build a wall doesn't mean you're a racist.
I know the answer to this too. They say you oppose legalizing weed.
That's not true.
I know.
and look, I joke about it, half joking. Half my family's from Jamaica. Are you kidding me?
and you hear all these reports. Well, they've turned their backs on the black community. It's the most embarrassing thing when you hear stuff like that, because I always tell people, and a good friend told me this, there's no they. There's no they, Colin.
Right.
You know who they is? They is you.
Right.
They is me. That's who they is. There's nobody gonna get it done, right? And so when you hear people talk about, I would never go in the White House and I would never meet Trump. Well, guess what? Maybe you don't feel the same way about your kids the way I feel about my kids.
Right.
Because I want my kids to be damn safer.
They are not just gangs of kids anymore. They are often the kinds of kids that are called super predators. No conscience, no empathy.
Racism is just a word that's being bandied and thrown about and thrown at the president, in my opinion, unjustly. President Trump is not a racist.
A page from a 1984 medical school yearbook of Democratic Governor Ralph Northam of Virginia, showing a photo of two people, one in blackface, one in a KKK hood and robe. There it is, look at it.
Wow, was it a big surprise when Evers' younger brother, civil rights activist Charles Evers, endorsed Donald Trump for president?
The wicked ones in the Jewish community that run America, run the government, run the world, own the banks, own the means of communication. They are my enemies. But as sure as I'm alive, my enemies will be made my footstool.
I fell in love with him because he really talks about helping African Americans, black people, and that's why I'm here.
Call me an anti-Semite. Stop it. I'm anti-termite.
Everyone around me tried to pick my candidate for me. And then told me every time I said I like Trump that I couldn't say it out loud or my career would be over. I'd get kicked out the black community because we're supposed to have a monolithic thought. We can only be Democrats.
Abraham Lincoln was the Whig Party. That's the Republican Party that freed the slaves. That's the Republican Party that freed the slaves. Want to call me a coon because I chose my right. In America, we got the right? We got our own right to our own opinions, right?
Now, we all know this to be true, but whenever you bring this up, the Democrats or, liberals will come back and say, well, there was a switch in the 60s, right? So whenever
a black man or anybody for that matter says that, just so you know, the Republican Party freed the slaves, they will come back always and say, yes, they did, but that was a different party, and the party now, you know, they are for slavery, and the party now is a racist and a fascist, blah, 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 this stuff. Right? And I always make this point, and I say this: the KKK never left the Democrat Party; they just evolved in the party. And I will prove this. Lastly, if I was a member of the KKK, which party would I want to be a member of right now? I'm talking about in 1854 up till, you know, I mean, when the KKK started around about 1900, you know. But I'm talking about, let's just go for the slavery. Let's say if I hated black folks, if I hated black people, right now, which party would I want to be a part of? Right now. Just imagine that right now. Well, the Democrat Party monolithically has 100% control of your votes. The Democrat Party controls your neighborhood. The Democrat Party has effectively have your neighborhood looking in poverty, looking like you're being shot left and right. Right? The Democrat Party is it's for gun control, so that means that's going to de-arm you. The Democrat Party is for the government controlling your housing, so you're not owning your own property, you're not owning your own land. The Democrat Party is for giving you a higher wage, paying the slave more for exhausting their labor. God, I'm preaching. We want to exhaust your labor, but we don't want to give you no tax credits or subsidies, so you own your own business, so you are in control of your own labor. So when you work, every dime you receive if you own the business, right? But we want to make sure we give you a higher wage while you working there, right? So the Democrat Party is for that. I go on and on and on. The Democrat Party is for Planned Parenthood or abortions. So black on black crime, along with Planned Parenthood and abortions, have killed more people than the KKK could have ever done, ever. Right? Do you hear what I'm saying? Between Planned Parenthood, between black on black crime, between the poverty, between the hopelessness, and between all the things you see in our neighborhoods, has done more and worse to black people than the KKK could have ever dreamed. If I was a member of a KKK, of a white supremacy group, I'd be sitting somewhere on high with my feet propped up and proud of the job that we've done. Because if I was a member, that proves 100% that you see what party they would be a part of. And so Kanye West, just like any black conservative, when you come to this realization, every other black person you know believes in it. So that's why he keep out of nowhere yelling it, because once you come to this epiphany, you can never go back, right? Even when you want to. There's been times where I said to myself, God, I wish I was put back to sleep, that I never knew, because then I'd be able to relate to my family and friends. Then I'd be able to relate to them all and say, oh yeah, you know what, they racist. Oh, they racist. Oh my God, I need to get rid of these racists. But you can't put yourself back to sleep. That's why out of nowhere he keep having these rants. No, Republican Party freed the slaves. And it's pissing y'all off, but it's just the truth, because he is breaking away from the ideology, and he is trying to scream it from the rooftops to have you break away too.
I think at the end of the day, we have to focus on the policy. You know, that's the real news, Don. I've gotten to know the president very closely over the last 3 years. I was one of his first hires, and coming from a single parent household in the city of Cleveland, Ohio, he's allowed me to share my experience. And he ran on fighting for the forgotten Americans. And in my positions, he has allowed us to usher in policies that help HBCUs, help our prison returning citizens, and also deal with economic empowerment of our inner cities. And so I think we need to focus on the action and the work that the president's doing. You know, the last time that they did criminal justice reform 30 years ago and created mandatory minimums under the Clinton administration, the states started to do mandatory minimums, and now we're seeing states doing quite the opposite, that are working on smart on crime policies. And so we're continuing to engage with those state leaders and doing things that are going to make communities safer and fairer for all Americans. But right now our focus is on second chance hiring. So we have to create an ecosystem out there that's empowering people. That's why opportunity zones are important, because many of these people ended up in a criminal justice reform because of criminal justice system because of a lack of opportunity. And we're focusing on providing ladders for people. And at the end of the day, the communities that I come from, people have never taken the time to actually deal with the issues of the people. And that's what the president's doing. And I think people need to pay more attention to that, because that's what's really going to empower the least of these in our country.
Black and you have a disadvantage as being a black man in the community. You can't do this, you can't do that. That's lies. Republicans is about can. Republic can. We can do what we want. Can nobody stop you? Ain't no imaginary white man stop you from becoming successful. The only enemy you have is yourself, and that's reality. And when you sit there and tell young black men they can't do something, what's gonna give them the drive to do it? That's a horrible mentality. You call my son right now and you ask my son, yo, what can you do? Anything I want. That's why my son's an honor roll student, because he's never been told he can't do something.
The man just led a raid to kill the leader of ISIS. Are you kidding me? What the hell is wrong with you people? I bet the man could cure cancer, literally, and y'all probably just still say, well, I've got a question for all of you out there that were booing our president. How did it feel to lose 7-1? Yeah, well, I think you sealed your fate. You can say goodbye to the World Series just like you can all say goodbye to winning in 2020. Donald Trump, baby.
I like it. I like it. If that's racist, let me get more of that.
African Americans built this nation. You were such a massive part of it. Bigger than you were given credit for. Does that make sense?
You're 100% for Trump? 150,000%.
Damn, all right, nigga. The president continues to believe, against all the evidence, that there were very fine people on both sides of the alt-right neo-Nazi white supremacist Unite the Right rally that took place in Charlottesville, Virginia 2 summers ago.
You're changing history, you're changing culture, and you had people, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally.
6 decades, Black America has found itself in a rhythm of insanity, voting for the same party over and over again and expecting different results. Democrats have looked at us in the face and they have sold us worthlessness. They have told us that we cannot, that we need more government assistance, more handouts. We handed them power, and in return, they further diminished our sense of pride, the most important thing that we had, our sense of pride. We allowed their governments to victimize us through the expansion of welfare policies. We allowed them, most importantly, to remove the fathers from our homes, removing the backbone of our families. They knew, the Democrats knew, that without stable households, our children would pursue that paternity elsewhere. They knew that our children would run to the streets. They knew that our youth would grow up and begin to mirror themselves after rappers and basketball players rather than men of high intellect and values and more attainable goals. Their media took away the Jeffersons, they took away the Winslows, they took away the Huxtables, and they gave us love and hip hop. They knew exactly what they were doing. They were resetting our goals. But what they didn't know, what they could have never predicted, was that we might wake up to it one day. He boldly looked Black America straight in the face and he asked us, "What do you have to lose?" The courage of that moment, the courage for a man to challenge us to look around at our communities and to just acknowledge it, to be real, to be honest with ourselves. He forced us to stop accepting excuses.
If this man is so racist, why is he giving $100 billion to low-income communities? He's so racist. If he's so racist, why he's the president that reopened back funding for HBCUs?
So you're 100% for Trump?
150,000%.
Damn, all right, nigga.
Who would you be for, Obama? What did he do? I'll wait. You tell me one thing he did. Oh, but he's racist, but yeah, he signed into law the jail reform law that freed over 4,000 people, 97% were black. But he's racist, though. This is what racists do. This is the new era of racism. I need that racism. I like it. I like it. If that's racist, let me get more of that. Facts. Captain Smart, I pray that you're having a blessed and prosperous day. Many liberals call myself and other black conservatives coons, Uncle Toms, bootlickers, Russian bots, house niggas, and other derogatory terms simply because we support President Donald Trump. People say to me all the time, "Devin, why do you support President Donald Trump? You're a black man." Well, you're correct. I'm a black man, and here's the reason why I support President Donald Trump. The First Step Act has released over 7,000 individuals from prison who have been in there for years on non-violent offenses.
91% of those people, they have been black. President Donald Trump has caused the lowest black unemployment rate that we have seen in over 50 years. I've graduated from a historical black college, and President Donald Trump has given over $100 million in funds to historical black colleges and universities. President Donald Trump has also caused a 400% surge in black businesses. If that is not already good enough, President Donald Trump hosted hundreds of young black leaders at the White House a couple weeks ago for the Black Leadership Summit. He's doing so many positive things for the black community that I will be a fool not to support him. The Democratic Party has manipulated and taken advantage of the black community for over 50 years, and I'm tired of it. They manipulate our emotions just to get our vote, and then when they get in office, they don't do anything for us. President Donald Trump, he supports the traditional family. He's pro-life. He doesn't support abortion. He supports religious freedom. So guess what? I support President Donald Trump. So you can like me or you can hate me, but my support for President Trump is unwavering, unshakable, and unapologetic. He will be reelected in 2020. So guess what, fake news media? The Russian hoax, it won't work. The Ukraine hoax, it won't work. Your lies won't work because President Donald Trump won't be getting impeached. You have a blessed day, and I'll talk to you soon.
Dave, this is the truth, what I'm about to say here. The same way that we could be sympathetic to young black men or black people for the way that they carry on in their life because of the conditions that they were subjected to, correct? Well, then we should give white people the same thing when it comes to you claiming that they're racist. That's the environment that they're subjected to. Now, the only way you could help them change that mindset is by not being against them and cursing them out and saying they're racist and this, that, and the third. The only thing you're going to do is going to solidify their already feelings. And you could change it by giving love. All right? That's one thing that we're missing at the end of the day is love. All right? So let's stop worrying about racism and black people this and da-da-da-da. Let's focus more on the love. That's important. All right? Let's focus on that.
Black in America, you're told that you're supposed to just be a Democrat. So one day I asked myself, why am I a Democrat? And so I did the research of why I'm a Democrat, looked up what the Democrats were about, then I did research about what the Republicans were about, and I realized that I've never been a Democrat. Anything that I stand for, everything that I was raised, my beliefs, my thoughts, it's all towards the Republican Party. And so then whenever I got there, I was able to get rid of my TDS, my Trump derangement syndrome, and I was able to open up my eyes and actually listen to him and give him a chance. And you know, black people, we don't like to be stereotyped or penalized or placed in a category. So I'm like, if I'm doing that to him and I don't want that done to me, then who am I? So it just kind of put me in a different mind space.
An organization that funds off of hate and race, right? So that hurts their pockets when they can't find something that they can fundraise off of. And it's embarrassing for them. It's embarrassing for them because it's revealing an ugly truth, which is that victimhood has been sold as a virtue in our community. My heart genuinely goes out to this girl. She is watching all of her idols. She is watching a media narrative that is being spun, that is telling black Americans that what they should aspire to is victimhood. And that is what needs to be reversed, and that's what needs to be talked about. And that is not a narrative that the NAACP ever wants to be talked about, because there would be no need for them to exist.
Is the propaganda arm of the Democrat Party, the exact same way the KKK was the militia arm of the Democrat Party. It's the same thing. It is a non-stop 90+% of the time. They are spouting nothing but hatred, division, doing nothing but trying to stir up emotional responses in Americans, especially the black community, that don't have their own sound understanding. They are manipulating us in order to control us, in order to dominate us. You know what the KKK's agenda was? Manipulate, dominate, and control by any means necessary. What is the mainstream media doing? Manipulate,
dominate and control the people.
When you talk about the welfare system, Lyndon B. Johnson and the proliferation of the welfare state and his Great Society Act, right? Those are the things that were racist. Trump was actually telling us, you guys are losing. So his courage and his strength is what I admire, and the results that he's already brought to this country in the 18 months that he's been in office. Despite every single day, we have CNN, MSNBC, racist, trying to get black people in line. But here's the thing, results. He's producing results. Let me just say one thing here, because it's really important that I say this. I don't want to mince words. The left believes that black people and Hispanic people are stupid. That is the truth. They believe that we are stupid. That is why they overuse the word racism at every turn. This is the politicking of fear. It has worked in the past and is no longer working, and they are frantic. And so they keep using more aggressive terminology, white supremacy, white nationalism, hoping that they can strap us in using fear. Okay? It's something that it gets me fired up, obviously, and it's upsetting to me because we've allowed this to happen. This is the reason that when Hillary Clinton was running, rather than going down into the cities and speaking to black people, she simply threw a Jay-Z and a Beyonce concert because she believes that black people are stupid. Because we had a monolithic path, and we were proving their point, voting in 90% margins for one party. We were proving their point. And finally, I feel that we are on the brink of seeing that disrupted in this country.
20 years old, I've seen many presidents, and presidents can only be there for 8 to 4 years.
That's right.
It always changes, but you know what hadn't changed? The things that are going on in this country has not changed. And you know something else that hadn't changed? People that have been in Congress for 30 to 20 years. So it's not your president's fault. He can only do so much. And we have, for our first time in American history, to have a president to push as hard as he can and take all the scrutiny that he can. We've never had a president this bold since Ronald Reagan. We finally got a president that's not afraid. But this president is not going to be here forever, so we have to continue to not to be afraid. Man, a lot of you guys claim to be Italian Americans, French Americans, Mexican Americans, but guess what? You go to your countries, you are no more Mexican than I am African. You are an American first. We share an American culture. We share an American flag.
Fake ass media that's out here, let me tell you this now. The only people that can hurt black people are the people that we allow around us. The only people that are white that we have allowed around us are white liberals. They reap the benefits of our culture. They reap the benefits of everything that we have to provide. They are making sure they're moving our communities to take the low rent, to get us up out of there. And the only people we keep voting for that keeps oppressing us are white liberals. Let me tell you something. I used to believe there was no such thing as white supremacy and as what's they say, white privilege. But I'm gonna tell you something, I stand corrected. Because if you're a white liberal, then you get to look a black man in the face and tell him that he is a disgrace to his race. It's fucking crazy that I sit here and I have to deal with being oppressed for who I want to be the president. I don't like globalists. I don't want no illegal immigrants in here. And I don't want to pay for people to lay up, sleep and eat, and fuck. If you didn't hear me, I'm saying it. I didn't pay for it. And that's not what I paid for. I want to be an American. I want to live in a country that gives my children the right to be protected and protect themselves. And the only reason why black men are out here stomping on flags and burning them is because the Democrats never taught them how to love that fucking flag.
We've done the exact same thing every 4 years ahead of an election cycle, and it needs to stop. This hearing, in my opinion, is a farce, and it is ironic that you're sitting here and you're having 3 Caucasian people testify and tell you what their expertise are. Do I know what my expertise are? Black in America. I've been black in America my whole life, all 30 years, and I can tell you that you guys have done the exact same thing every 4 years ahead of an election cycle, and it needs to stop.
We take and we vote for the swamp. See, some of these people want business as usual. Let's go back to business as usual. And now we have a president that's changing the game. That's right. So I'm just looking at all of it. I hope the squad be voted out, and I hope these 3 stooges be voted out too. That's right.
That's incredible. Immigration is another big thing. Over 50% decrease in immigration since May of this year, thanks to President Trump working with Mexico, holding a hard line. Do you think this number is going to continue to decrease under the president?
I think that those numbers are going to continue to decrease, listen, it is time for us to follow our immigration laws. I absolutely love this president that he's putting Americans over illegal aliens. When you come into this country, you get in line, you wait your turn, you do it the right way. You don't take cuts, you don't get to break into the windows of America.
That's right.
Now the president, always big energy, always high energy. He's going to be talking to a packed crowd tonight. His rally schedule is increasing. How many rallies do you think he's going to have between now and the election?
Oh, probably, I don't know.
200,
Probably one,
300?
probably it could be 300. You never know with the president of the United States. Well, let me tell you something. His rallies, you all, look at the numbers.
Yeah.
Democrats, his supporters, Democrats can't get that. And whenever you look at the left-wing media and you see how they're trying to smear him, they smear him because they fear him. They know that he's doing well with America and Americans.
Right.
They know that he's doing great with black Americans. That's
right.
why you have black people on a very fake news sitting up telling us, trying to get us to say, well, don't worry about the fact that black unemployment is at an all-time low.
Right.
Just look at him. They want to demonize him and won't think that we going to go along as black people with the foolishness, and we not.
Friends who tell me that I shouldn't support Donald Trump because I'm black, which is sort of insane because this is politics. I can support whoever the hell I want to support. But and then also they told me I shouldn't wear the MAGA hat, so I bought the biggest MAGA hat. So it makes it double the importance. So that's why.
For the sake of honoring the truth, and that is the truth, for the sake of honoring it, I think we all need to really truly search and look into our own hearts about a lot of things in life. And I'm not just talking about Donald Trump. I'm talking about things on the social, the political, the economic, and the religious point of view and perspective. Really, truly, it's going to take some due diligence on your part. You're going to have to use self-autonomy, but if not, you're going to continue to be abused by the power sources that are out there that you're not aware of in this matrix you think you're aware of, but you're going to continually to be abused, coerced, and manipulated, and toyed and gained by this theater that is taking place here in this world. And I think you should be ashamed of yourself. Really, literally. Because you have not invested in yourself. I mean, personal knowledge, personal education, self-education is some of the best knowledge that is gained in the world. But you have to first be willing to put yourself in a position to be taught. I'm utterly appalled at how dumb we are today. We are literally, as a society, have been dumbed down to an unprecedented level. You've been watching too much TV. I mean, entirely too much TV. They know how to sway the narrative. They know how to incite racism. They know how to push certain buttons and get people offended and stirred up over nothing. Well, the news media is pushing the narrative that Donald Trump is a racist. Well, let me tell you all something from my own personal discernment and opinion. You're all liars if you believe that. It's just a fact. It's just a fact. You know, most of us, we have an opinion, and we believe that our opinion is truth. Now, while we may all be entitled to our own opinion, we're not entitled to our own truth.
That it is racist to criticize the people whose policies created all this. This is Baltimore. Baltimore is over 60% black. Baltimore's mayor is black. Baltimore's last mayor is black. The mayor before that was black. The elected officials were black. Baltimore has a poverty rate of over 2 times the state average in Maryland. Baltimore has trash in the streets. Baltimore has dilapidated homes. Baltimore has African American citizens who don't feel safe. They feel like they can't be proud of where they live. But the left wants to tell you that to criticize that to criticize the African American lawmakers on the left who have let this problem go on for decades and decades is racist. Holding black elected officials accountable is now racist. That is an absolute scam. That is an absolute myth. Criticizing the people that have allowed this to happen to this place, in this great state, in this great nation is not racist. What the left wants African Americans to do is to ignore what is right in front of our faces, so that when they drop the race card and they say that criticism of something is racist, we're supposed to ignore everything that is going on around us and to be triggered emotionally by the word racist or by the thought of racism. You can't keep telling the people that it is racist to criticize the people whose policies created all this. The truth is right here. What are you going to do about it?
People did not need the Russians. Black people did not need no blogs or anybody to tell them that they didn't need to vote Democrat no more. We can look at our own damn neighborhoods and see it in ruins by Democrat politicians for the last 70 years. We can see our people in Flint drinking lead water for the last 10 years, 15 years plus. The whole city ran by Democrats. We can see people in Chicago being shot on the corner left and right. The whole city ran by Democrats. We can see people in Oakland, California with no opportunities, no jobs, getting shot in poverty, and the whole city ran by Democrats. We didn't need no freaking Russians to tell us to stop voting for the Democrat Party. We looked in our own communities and said, I am tired of this. We got to do something. Either I'm staying home or I'm voting for Trump. And that's a fact.
So coming to the White House means to me that I'm just coming home. This is the people's house, baby.
I have no words for how proud of all of these black conservatives to be here at the White House.
Leave me alone. Really I got the right to support the President of the United States of America. Okay? I got the right to love America. Loving America is not hateful.
You know, we're no longer enslaved to the Democratic Party. It's a great awakening happening, and I'm so proud and glad to be a part of history. Very happy about this.
There's so many young people here. Gen Z, man, there's some amazing young people who are so conservatively based and they know their stuff.
Young black brother from the hood, former gang member, invited to the White House. I want to be part of that.
You know, to be invited by the President of the United States, President Trump, I'm just so humbled and grateful.
Lowest unemployment numbers in the history. Job reports released today. 3.5, that's the number of the day, baby. Yes, sir.
Like I said, I'm from the hoods, the slums of Houston, Texas, man, so I wasn't supposed to be in the first place. My mom made it.
Anything is possible. If I can do it, you can do it. Do your point play. We're going to the White House and actually getting to see the president. How many people do you know they get to do that? Not many.
You know, I'm proud to be an American and USA.
I belong in the White House. I'm just coming home.
So I've been doing this for a long time. That is the loudest I've ever heard anything in this room. That broke the record. Unbelievable. Boy, oh boy, this is a group.
Dear God,
I just want to say thank you so much for giving us this opportunity to be in the White House. Thank you for giving us a great leader like Trump. The enemy tries to attack us every single day. He tries to discourage us, but he has no room. He has no room, no more. And that's all I have to say. Oh my God.
We are so blessed. And listen, let me say this. The media, the audacity of them to think that they are going to impeach our president. No. It's not happening. It's absolutely not happening. Not under our watch. We need to make sure we fight for this man. The one man who is standing up for Black America, we are going to fight for, guys. We have to keep it going.
So, all of you on your campuses or in high school, I know a lot of y'all in high school, continue to fight for your right for freedom of speech because you know where you stand and everyone else can know where you stand too. So just keep up that fight.
Thank you.
We thank you for criminal justice reform. Yeah. We thank you for the lowest black unemployment rate in this country, sir. Yeah. Finally, sir, thank you for taking on the fake news media, sir.
They are harassing you, Mr. President, so they are harassing me. 2020 is around the corner, and we have a lot to lose now because President Donald J. Trump has done so much for the Black community. Thank you, President Trump.
To everyone here today, keep up the great work, and I just want to say, from the bottom of my heart, God bless you, God bless your families, and God bless America. Thank you. Thank you very much.
He has been helping African Americans rise to the highest level that we can be as a people. The rise from the bottom to go to the top. That's why we here at the White House. It's a beautiful thing. He's doing things simply because it's the right thing to do. And you understand what I'm saying? So when you have when you know that, when you know the man, and when you know his heart and desire to help raise everybody's level, you feel me? That says something major.
Minorities have been used in this country, and all of that changes today. We figured out that the left is using us to secure votes and to keep themselves in power and to keep themselves rich.
The mission of conservative values will resonate with people who are here and inspire them.
We hit the home run when we were born and raised in America. There are 7 billion people in the world. The majority of them would trade places with us if only they could.
My country tears of thee. Sweet land of liberty of thee I sing.
Minorities do not belong to the left. We belong to nobody but ourselves and God.
No, we are not satisfied, and we will not be satisfied.
We are separating ourselves from the victim narrative.
The Democratic Party has been able to tell and dictate for too long who we are.
It's a mentality that you don't have to think a certain way just because you look a certain way.
It is not racism that is keeping us out of the American dream. It's the lies that we've been told.
We have to put this to a stop, and we have a president that's willing to do it.
They are trying to turn us into single-issue voters, and they will never take our vote. This is our official Declaration of Independence from the left. This is the beginning of the revolution, and we are going to save America.
We remind America of the fierce urgency of now. Now is the time.